Welcome to our chair yoga practice today. It's wonderful to have you join me again at the mat or in our chairs. Welcome to our YWCA Hunter members, our Friday chair yogis, and our encore ladies, and whoever else may have joined us today. Today's practice is we are just going to focus on some of our warrior poses, just a short bit of a sequence with our warrior poses, with a bit of breathing to start with and just a quick savasana at the end. But to start with all of our practices, our alignment is very important, so getting comfortable in your chair. Our sitting bones nice and sturdy, our feet really grounded into the ground, spreading out those toes as wide as possible. Our feet are about hip distance apart or knees about 2 fists apart, engaging our core, so that belly button to the spine, or pretending that you've got a zip that's tight pair of jeans, zip that's done up. Relaxing our shoulder blades down our back and relaxing our shoulders, the crown of the head to the ceiling, and our chin just slightly tucked in. And just coming to a nice relaxed position here, and just coming back to our natural breath, and just finding some quiet before we get into the practice. Now, the most important thing with any of our practices is to ensure that you don't have any pain or discomfort. If at any stage you feel any pain or discomfort, just take it down a notch or come back to this seated mountain pose and just take a few moments to come back. So continuing with just our natural breath. And if you'd like to put your hands on your rib cage, and we're just going to take some breathing from our bellies up through our rib cage and expanding those lungs of the ribs and coming up to our chest. So if everybody'd like to exhale now, big exhale, and then on the inhale, expanding the belly, expanding the rib cage and up to the chest. And then exhaling and just bringing it all back down. Inhaling, expanding, and exhaling, it's a contraction. A couple more of these. Just contracting on that exhale and trying to lengthen that exhale as much as possible. And one more. And just bringing our hands down. And inhaling, bringing our arms up to shoulder height, and exhaling down, inhaling up, exhaling down. A couple more. And now rolling our shoulders, alternate. Remembering to breathe as we do this, and now just incorporating the upper body, just getting some movement into that upper body. And now the opposite direction. And don't forget to keep breathing. Just your natural breath. And just a bit of a wiggle, whatever feels good. Just to loosen up the spine. Just do a couple of cat-cows to really lubricate that spine. So getting back to our mountain pose and keeping that core nice and engaged. And on the inhale, bringing our chest forward, our elbows back and our shoulder blades together, chin up to the ceiling, and tilting that pelvis back. And on the exhale, tilting our pelvis forward, sliding our hands forward, rounding out those shoulders and the chin to our chest. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. And a couple more of these. And now coming back to our mountain pose. Now we just want to bring some rotation into our hips. Just lifting that leg just to wherever is comfortable. You might need to move forward in your chair. Just lubricating those joints. If there's some creaking, that's quite okay. That's quite normal. So we're just trying to bring some mobility and stability into our bodies. And that's what today's practice is all about. And again, our opposite leg, remembering to breathe and trying to bring these movements in rhythm with our breath. And one more. We're coming back to our seated mountain pose, and we'll just do some windscreen wipers here. So on the edge of our seat, just dropping one knee and dropping the other. So just warming up again through the legs and through those hips. And one more. And back to our seated mountain pose, and we'll just bring some wriggling those toes, wriggling those hands, and those ankles, just bringing some movement into those joints that quite often we feel get stuck. Okay, now coming back into our seated mountain pose, feet grounded into the ground, engaging that core, dropping those shoulders and shoulder blades down our back, and the crown of the head to the ceiling and that chin tucked. And then on the inhale, bringing our arms up overhead, clasping the hands if that is available to you. If not, just keeping them straight. And inhaling, we're going to reach up. And on the exhale, we will just bend over or stretch over, giving a nice big stretch to the side of our body. So whether you like to do your right or your left, that is fine. I'm doing my right. And just a couple of breaths here. One more inhale. On the exhale, coming back up. Inhaling, reaching up, and we'll go down to our other side. If that's too much, just keeping the hands on the shoulders. And coming back up into our neutral mountain, our neutral position, back to our seated mountain pose. Now, what we'd like to do is, if you'd like to come to the edge of your chair, and we will moving over to our right. So I'm on my right, so having your right knee above your right ankle, foot firmly grounded onto the ground, making sure you can still see your toe. Now this is where some people may be able to come to this position, but if you can, coming back to the edge of the leg and extending that back leg out, and that toe pointing on a 45-degree angle, up, sort of 40 out, and keeping that leg nice and straight, keeping those hips over the shoulders, and we've Now facing forward over our knee. This is our warrior one pose. Now if you can, if it's available to you, bringing your arms up overhead, hanging onto the chair and only having one arm, whatever works for you today and whatever is comfortable. And we're just going to take a couple of breaths here, keeping those shoulders not above those hips, twisting over that leg, over that knee, and just moving off into the different, standing really nice and proud and tall here in our warrior one. Keeping that core nice and engaged, that belly button to the spine, that back foot grounded into the ground. Remembering to take some nice breaths here. Relaxing those shoulders down. Remember if that's too much for you, just bringing that other foot forward and just keeping it at this position with our warrior one. And one more breath here. And now we're moving into our warrior two position. So bringing that foot and placing it, the foot, grounded foot in the back, really pushing out in the outer edge of that foot at a 90-degree angle. Now we're bringing our hips facing forward, bringing up, keeping your hands here if that's all that's available to you today, if that's where you feel comfortable. Otherwise, bringing our arms out in line with our shoulders and gazing and really stretching out those arms, gazing over that middle finger. Keeping that core nice and engaged, really grounding into those feet. And if that is too much for you, again, bringing that back foot, or actually bringing that foot forward in this position, keeping those hips facing forward towards the
No, where's my jumper?
And really gazing over that middle finger to the right. Keeping that core nice and engaged and dropping those shoulders. These warrior poses, very much about stability, balance, bringing strength, pushing into the ground with our feet. And one more breath. And then exhale. Now we're going to come into our reverse warrior. So putting our back arm over the back leg, keeping that leg nice and grounded, and that forward arm placing it up to the palm, to the ceiling, and then coming up overhead. And again, if that is too much, keeping the hand on the shoulder. Really extending, reaching on the inhale and on the exhale, just trying to sink a bit deeper into this pose. Really grounding into with your feet and remembering that's too much. You just keep that leg grounded, knee forward, and then extending. And then on our next inhale, coming up, bringing our forearm to just above our knee or to our thigh. Not dropping into that, just really resting it, keeping a nice space in between here and that forward arm. So with our full position, we've got extended warrior. So very strong poses. Remember, if it's all too much, coming back to the position here, and if the arms too much, keeping the hand on the shoulder, but remember not sinking in to the pose, keeping a nice space, and it's just a light. to breathe in and reach. The inhale. The next inhale, coming back up. And just taking a moment. Coming back to our natural breath in our seated mountain pose. Before we head into the warrior poses on the other side. And one more. And let out a big sigh. Now let's go over to the other side. So I'm heading over to my left. So remember, bringing the left knee over the left ankle, feet nice and firmly into the ground, making sure you can see your big toe. Now this is what's all that's available to you, just dropping that knee. You can either have it on your toes or just flat on the ground, whatever is comfortable for you. We're coming up into our full pose, extending that leg, and the foot's on a bit of a 45-degree angle and pushing out to the outer edge of the foot, and making sure that our hips are facing forward, our shoulders are over our hips, really grounding out into those feet, and hands on the shoulders or just down by your side, whatever's comfortable for you. One arm up if that's okay. And if you can, bringing both arms up, dropping our shoulders and our shoulder blades down. Really reaching up with the arms and the fingers, grounding into the ground, keeping that core nice and engaged. And just gazing forward. And taking couple of nice deep breaths in our warrior one position. Be proud. It's all about our stability, our balance, strength. And one more. Inhale. And on the exhale, we're going to come into our warrior two position. So the foot coming out on a 90-degree angle. Our shoulders and hips facing forward, arms at shoulder height or down by onto your waist, whatever is comfortable for you, or on your hands on your shoulders, whatever feels right for you. Really, arms no higher than shoulder height, really stretching out with those arms, remembering to keep the shoulders over the hips, really gazing out, reaching out with those hands, gazing out over the middle finger, forward finger, keeping that core nice and engaged, pushing into the outer edge of that back foot, really pushing into the ground, so strength and stability. Excellent pose for our balance. And one more. Inhale and exhale. And we're coming into our reverse warrior, so dropping that back arm onto that back leg, palm facing the ceiling, and then reaching overhead. Looking up to the ceiling if that's available to you. If not, down to the ground, whatever is comfortable for you. Remembering that's too much, bringing that leg forward with the knee pointing out, grounding into the ground, and then just leaning overhead. Really reaching with that arm back. Remembering to breathe. And on the next inhale, and then we exhale, coming into our extended warrior. So this is what's right for you. And bringing the back arm, remembering the forearm, just really resting on that thigh, not dropping into it, just resting onto it. And extending that back arm overhead, looking into the ground or up to the ceiling, whatever is comfortable for you. Or our full pose. Really dropping and making sure we're not leaning into the forward, bringing those shoulders in line with our hips. One more breath here. Inhale and exhale. Coming back to our seated mountain pose. Again, taking some breaths just to still the body and recover from those strong poses. Who thought that something so simple could be quite difficult. So coming back to our natural breath. One more. Inhale and exhale. And we're just going to do some twists here. Just going to move the legs over to actually move it to the right side, extending our arms out, shoulder height. That is available to you if that's too much. Just keeping them on the hips. And then just gazing over the opposite side to where you have your legs. Keeping that core nice and engaged. Dropping those shoulders. And one more breath here. And we'll bring it back. And let's do the opposite side. So legs facing in the opposite direction, arms out, down by your hips, whatever is available to you or on your shoulders. And then just extending, keeping those hips over, keeping the shoulders over your hips, not your hips over your shoulders. And then gazing into the opposite direction, keeping those knees close together. Just taking a couple of breaths in this lovely twist. And if you can get down on the ground and do this down on the ground, this is a beautiful twist. Wonderful for our spines. Inhale, and then we exhale, coming back to our seated mountain pose. Just coming back to getting our alignment, getting comfortable in our chair, keeping our sitting bones nice and firm in the chair, relaxing those shoulders, just keeping that core engaged, crown of the head to the ceiling, chin just tucked slightly, and you can either keep your eyes downcast or close them, whatever is comfortable for you. And just coming back, taking a moment to just focus on that breath and how it feels coming in through your nostril and out through the nostril. The cold air coming in and the warm air over the top of your lip. Beautiful, smooth silk movements. Focusing on that breath and relaxing and allowing the body to sink further into your chair. Continuing to focus on your breath and relaxing deeper and sinking deeper into the chair. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Just bring some movement into our wrists, fingers, toes, ankles. And dropping our hands by our sides. And bringing our arms overhead, inhaling. Exhaling in, hands down to prayer. Namaste. Thank you for joining me today and have a wonderful and beautiful day.